I'm someone who does not know irony, for example. I do understand humor, but I take things literal, and whatever other references that might be there doesn't occur to me. So for me, a chair is a chair, and I do not reference to other possibilities. What could the chair refer to in a very simple, very simple term? How straightforward and simple I see. For me, a man is a man. I cannot distinguish a gay man from a straight man. I just cannot distinguish unless the man comes in drag and is so obviously gay. Then I would notice. And I saw a filmmaker whom I know since 35 years, John Waters. John Waters, just 2 weeks ago or so, John Waters. And I turned to my wife. We talked backstage because we were both introducing or speaking at an event for the founder of New Line Cinema, who is a friend of both of us. After 35 years of knowing John Waters, I turned to my wife and I said to her, I have the feeling this man is gay. And which is in a way wonderful, because I took him as John Waters, and I love the man. I love him dearly, and he's the boldest of the bold of filmmakers. I wish I had the guts of this man, and he's very, very dear to my heart. But for me, this is a man. Yes, a man is a man.
Welcome to Flyby Films, once or twice a month, using the magic of distance-defying tubes or some stupid shit like that. We get together to discuss films that either have been or will be forgotten. I'm Blake Collier, and sitting next to me in this tiny, tiny box in Riverside is my friend and co-host, Jameson Barsotti. On this episode, we are going to be talking about Joker 2. Is it
I don't think that's
Folie,
the title.
Folie et Deux?
Yeah, Joker : Folie à Deux.
Yeah, very French of them. I like it. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about this, and that strange voice you heard is a returning guest, Luke T. Harrington. He's the one who picked this film.
Yeah.
So to start off, we're not gonna get into the movie directly because you know us well enough at this point to know that we bullshit for the first 30 minutes of it. But I did want to say, how did you watch the first Joker?
I did. Yeah.
And what did you think of it?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah. Okay.
My reaction to both of these movies has been kind of like, I don't get it. Like, I didn't understand what the big deal about the first one was, and I didn't understand why I was supposed to hate the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was, I thought it was good for what it was. And what it was like, let's glue together Taxi Driver and the King of Comedy and paint a thin veneer of DC Comics over it. And I mean, in that sense, it was fine. It felt like a 70s Scorsese movie. It just wasn't as good as a 70s Scorsese movie. You know, I would have much rather sat through Taxi Driver or The King of Comedy again, because those are both great movies. And the first Joker was, I thought it was pretty good. Not great. I mostly enjoyed it. I had no desire to watch it again.
Yeah. That's pretty close to what I thought of it too. Jameson, however, despised it.
I hated that.
You despised it. I want to hear what you hated about it, because I felt like it was a hard movie to hate. It was a hard movie to love, but also a hard movie to hate. I don't know. What did you hate about it?
I felt like it was just mean the whole time. I think maybe this was just like the vibe I was feeling. I think I wrote to Blake like, I feel like my feelings towards it have hardened over the years too, so I might not be giving it a fair shake anymore. But I have no desire to go back to it and change those feelings. So like, it's probably just gonna stay there.
Let the hate flow
I
through
just,
you.
yeah, I mean, I get all the things that you were saying, but I think because it was not really adding anything to that, and it, we've gotten. I sat through all of Nolan's grimdark Batman movies,
Yeah.
and this just felt like it was trying to like one-upmanship that, and I was like, I wasn't into it at all, and I just didn't get it. I think I was distracted by all of that and by not seeing the point, that I didn't like appreciate the things. Like, I know Joaquin Phoenix won best actor for that, sure, whatever. But like, and I think he's a great actor. I really like his stuff, but I just, yeah, I don't know.
I will
Wasn't able to
say
take it.
I will say, for my part, the fact that I tolerated Joker at all probably speaks very well of the movie, because like I really don't like comic book movies. I really find Batman insipid. I especially find Joker like the most insipid and overrated of the Batman villains. Like I just the whole grim dark superhero comic thing just does not work for me. I feel every time I go to a movie like that, I feel like I'm sitting next to a 13-year-old, and he is like, "You better take seriously my story about a guy who dresses up in a rubber bat suit to fight an evil clown, because I'm so badass." And I'm just, it typically doesn't work for me. But I like Joker more than I thought I would. So
Okay, that's fine. That's fair. I think, and this could have just been anti-hype too. Like, that description of the 13-year-old like taking it super seriously is just what I felt the movie was like
yeah, and
doing the whole
I
time.
understand that.
Yeah.
Maybe my thing was like, I went in expecting that, and it was better than that, but not by maybe not by a whole lot, but like,
Yeah.
I thought that the performances in it were very good. The cinematography was really well done. There were there were things to like about it. It wasn't. It was maybe lazy in a commercial sense of like, oh, I bet the fanboys will come to a grimdark Joker movie, but it wasn't lazily made.
Yeah. There was some technique
that's
in
fair.
it. I did want to go back to the point, and I swear, audience, anyone who's listening right now, I know y'all are not used to us actually getting on topic this soon into the podcast, but I do want to go back to
our podcast
exactly
with legitimacy.
But I want to go back to something that one of y'all mentioned. I can't remember who, but the hype around this movie, and not so much even the hype, but if you think back to 2019, it was the political ramifications of this movie.
Yeah, and
I don't know if y'all remember like the discourse that happened with this movie, but that made it either really easy to just over love it or over hate it.
Yeah,
and so I watched it maybe 2 years later for the first time, once all the hype had kind of passed and people were not talking about it anymore. And I came out of it and I was like, it was fine.
Yeah.
And I thought no more about it.
This discourse around it was a lot more interesting than the movie itself. Like,
yes.
And, it's interesting with a capital I. Like, a lot of it was like insipid, but it was interesting in the way it was insipid, and I think I'm here because I wrote a blog post on both Joker movies a year ago, and I don't know if y'all read my. I think at least Blake read the post. I don't know if either of you remember.
I've read everything up until the last two, apparently.
Blake is my only fan. I should get an OnlyFans and Blake would subscribe.
Yeah.
It's true, I would.
Everything I write, Blake reads. I don't think anybody else does, but Blake does. Anyway, I say this in the piece that, you know, Joker was not a great movie by any means, but it really represented a big turning point in my thinking. Because just watching the completely unhinged reaction to that movie was like, it just made me realize, oh, we have a real problem with the discourse in this country. Like it runs, the problem with the discourse runs much deeper than just Trump and his cronies. Like,
yeah.
Everybody on the left is just as insane as everybody on the right, and I am trapped in hell with all of these people. Because I don't know if, you know, I mean, this was wow, 6 years ago now, so, you know, listeners may or may not remember, but this was obviously the height of the Trump years, and I think
before COVID.
It was before COVID, but it was around the time that the first impeachment happened, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's how I remember it anyway. And it was like, you know, this Joker movie came out, and suddenly, like, everybody with hashtag DSA in their Twitter bio was like freaking out about how could Warner Brothers do the irresponsible thing and release this movie right at the height of the Trump years, and obviously all of the Nazi incels are going to see this movie and go insane and murder everyone. And it's like so many of these people were like journalists, and it's like, you guys are like taking a brave, you journalists are taking a brave stand against free speech, huh? And just the weird school marmy thinking to it all of like everybody but me is just a robot who will do whatever a movie tells them to. And, you know, I'm the only one smart and mature enough to take this principled stance of don't go on a killing spree if a movie tells you to go on a killing spree. I don't know. It was just very weird. Mm-hmm. And just, I mean, I don't know. You guys are free to disagree.
But I think the bigger issue is the fact that, you know, like you said, the DSA, like, you know, byline on Twitter, they were freaking out about this movie. But if you actually watch the movie, it's about a poor white guy who gets fucked by the system. Mm-hmm. I mean, it turns bad. I mean, how socialist is that?
Yeah, it's a pretty unambiguously leftist film, or at least
it is.
Or at least it leans in that direction, or at least it flips those ideas. But, you know, because he's white and male, it's evil. Right?
But that's the problem is that a lot of the socialist thought these days has grappled with the progressive like identity politics and whatnot. So they're more concerned with the optics than they are with the actual like what is this movie saying about the system itself?
Coalition that can actually gain enough power to change the system.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So,
I have to be honest, guys. Like, I had completely blocked that out. I actually don't. Yeah, no, I do not. I mean, there's like, I guess some like memory back there about this movie coming out. But it's so weird because I do not remember this movie being political at all, really. Like, I mean, I guess you could read a leftist narrative into it, but like, honestly, I feel like the movie we're going to talk about is more overtly political.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just, you know, I hear you say that, and that's just crazy for me because this movie, I remember being like a pivotal point in my thinking, you know, even though I didn't think it was a great movie, like it just completely just changed the course of my thought. Like this is a core memory for me is watching the crazy reaction to this movie. And maybe that says more about me than about anything. I don't know.
No. I could have just missed it all. I mean, Blake is here; he remembers it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was pretty significant. And I was still on Twitter, I think, at that point.
Well, and part of that for me too was just realizing that, oh my gosh, I spend way too much time online. If I'm reading all these hot takes, and like everybody is pretending that this, comic book movie is like the most important thing happening right now. And for a few minutes I was taking it seriously. Like I need to get off the internet and get a real life back, like that was part of it for me too.
It is pretty crazy. Like, I did not remember how big of a deal this movie was. I looked back on its box office and it made over $1 billion worldwide.
Yeah, no, it was a huge hit. I mean, that's why it got a sequel. It was a huge hit. And it cost almost nothing to make because it wasn't like a big special effecty comic book movie. It was like a gritty crime drama that happened to have the Joker in it. Basically no special effects, I think,
Yeah.
It was almost like a dressing. Like the Joker was more of a dressing than it was an actual, like, it's almost like Todd Phillips went into it and was like, hey, let's do this like Taxi Driver King of Comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll make the main character Joker. I guess
I think
that works. I mean,
basically, he's been pretty straightforward about that in interviews. I think I saw several interviews with him where he was like, "Yeah, studios won't spend money on anything other than comic book movies." So
yeah, that's fair.
I gave them what they wanted. I made a crime drama that was also a comic book movie. Okay.
Which honestly is an interesting choice for the guy who made The Hangover. So
yeah, well, and he did say, I mean, one of the other things he was saying in interviews was, the typical "you can't do comedy anymore because everyone is such snowflakes," that sort of thing.
Yeah,
which is probably true to an extent. I don't know.
Yeah,
or at least it was at the time.
Yeah. I feel like that's starting to break down some.
Do you think comedy's back? Now that
Elon Musk I heard really good things about the new Naked Gun movie with Pierce Brosnan. Apparently,
it's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah.
With Liam Neeson. Well. Yeah. It's not bad. It's pretty good.
I mean, what's really hard these days, and I'm like the billionth person to say this, but what's really hard is making mid-budget movies, which comedies tend to be, hits at the box office because. Going to the movies has gotten so insanely expensive, and streaming stuff at home is so insanely cheap and easy that people just won't come out for anything unless they think it's like something they have to see on the big screen. Which is, it's bad for comedies, it's bad for dramas, it's bad for almost anything except comic book movies,
And maybe horror films.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for a lot of people, for a lot of horror fans, part of the experience is seeing it in a big crowd and everybody screaming all at once. Yeah. I mean, and horror films too tend to be low enough budget that they don't have to hold that big of an audience. But yeah, I don't know. I would, I would love to see mid-budget comedies come back and start doing what, like, I love going to the movies. I'm a movie guy. One of my BAs is film studies. But I also get, from an economic perspective, why nobody goes to the movies anymore. And certainly I go a lot less than I used to. Like, COVID really broke me of the habit. And
that's what I've heard is that like COVID kind of reset people's minds about like, oh, you could stay home and have an enjoyable night, and we kind of got used to that. And so
well, and I've spent the last few years getting back in shape, and now I know how many calories there are in a bucket of movie theater popcorn, and it's like, it's not worth it,
Yeah.
But there was a time when my absolute favorite thing in the world was, go to the movies, get a giant greasy bucket of popcorn and a giant soda, and just.
I mean, the popcorn itself is hard to beat, honestly, but it's not worth the cost or the calories.
And frankly, I can make better popcorn at home that has like half the calories.
Yep.
Air popper, real butter, a little bit of Parmesan. Yep. You're in business.
There you go.
But,
there you go. So to change the subject away from important things, like
away from the topic of the podcast.
People don't listen.
You said a BA.
Come on.
You said a BA in something.
Ooh.
I heard that you're going to become a MA.
MS, actually.
MS. Ooh.
Yeah, which hopefully
Master
I won't
Science.
contract MS. I had a grandmother who died of MS. and apparently
Hashtag
there's
too soon,
a genetic
Luke.
component to that. But so far so good. I haven't shown any.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, no one else in the family seems to. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic, but yeah, last time I was on the show, I don't know if anybody listened to that episode. It was the one about Dungeons and Dragons. Last time I was on the show, I mentioned.
I can assure you, no one has listened to that episode yet.
Even I didn't listen to that. Actually, I did because I was curious, but I was like, "Did I sound okay?" But yeah. Anyway, on that episode, I said I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. Because I, at that point, had published 2 multi-award-winning books that nobody bought. And I had just lost my agent a few months ago and was like, I'm completely burnt out on writing, but it's also like all I've done for the last 10 years of my life, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Turns out I'm going back to grad school. And I don't know how much of this story you guys want me to tell, but it was a...
Do it. Tell the whole thing. It was
a whirlwind courtship between me and grad school. It was like one day I had no idea what I was doing, and then 2 weeks later it was like, okay, I'm doing this. Yeah, at around the beginning of October, I had basically run out of agents to query with my new novel, and it was like, okay, so I need to figure out what I'm doing with my life since it's looking like I won't find a new agent. And I said to myself, you either need to get a real job and help support your family, or else you need to go back to grad school and make something out of your brain. And so I
chose correctly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't even a choice, really. Like, I just started kind of brainstorming ideas and like looking for grad programs and looking for potential jobs. And I said to myself, going forward, I'm going to do one thing a day to take a step toward finding something to do, right? Mm-hmm. So one of my thoughts was I could probably finish my MS Ed at Martin Luther College of New Ulm, Minnesota. I started an MS Ed 10, 12, maybe 14 years ago, back when I was teaching in Oklahoma. So I started an MS Ed at Oklahoma State. I think I did like 24 hours there, something like that. But then...
Does that transfer?
Some of it will, yeah. But then I started having babies or making my wife have babies or whatever, and I ended up...
No, I'm pretty sure you had the babies.
I had the babies, yeah, it's true. We're a very progressive family that way. So anyway, yeah, so I had part of an MS Ed, but, when we started having kids, I was like, I'll stay home with the kids and I will write books. And that's what I've done for the last 12 years. But writing books took me nowhere. And my kids are 10 and 12 now, both full-time students. So I don't really need to be at home anymore. So, Martin Luther College is the flagship college for the Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran Synod.
Whoa.
Which is the tiny Lutheran sect that I am currently involved with, and technically working for. I am the front desk receptionist for my local parish,
Okay, so do they align more with Missouri, or do they align more with whatever the other one is, evangelical, whatever?
They are
like kind of theologically.
Yeah, they're kind of a tiny fundy sect, so they're more conservative than the Missouri Synod.
Dirty fundies.
About a tenth the size of the Missouri Synod, I think.
Okay.
So they're conservative, but they're accepting of a man having babies. So
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so they would be like
as we've established.
They would be the OPC of Presbyterian churches.
Exactly. That's what I tell people.
Gotcha.
Yeah. If you know your Presbyterian sects, Wells is the OPC of Lutheranism. And of
Gotcha.
course, I was actually raised OPC, so that is a comparison that makes sense to me and very few other people.
Of
But
course, it'd be
Guys,
me too.
I just want to say, whenever I hear like Midwestern or like East Coast people talk about like various sects of Christianity in the United States, it
yeah,
feels like a foreign land. Because like I'm California born and raised, and I was oh my God, Christian Missionary Alliance, CMA, and it's just like the most vanilla, bland evangelical thing. And then we also had like what's the other big one on the West Coast? It's oh, I'm blanking so hard, but it's just you have like these like two options, and that's what everybody in California goes to. I mean, there's like the
yeah.
Episcopal churches and things like that. It just feels like a foreign land.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I mean,
continue.
once you
Yeah.
get west of the Rockies, all Christianity is just non-denominational.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
And in the midst of infinitely splitting.
yeah, yeah. But I am
Calvary
very
Chapel. That was the other
Calvary
one.
Chapel,
Calvary
yep.
Chapel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Calvary
that
Chapel.
makes sense.
I am
Also
very much
very garden variety.
I am very much a Yankee, born in New England and raised primarily in the Midwest, and still there. So, yeah. So anyway, first day of October, I'm like, I need to do one thing a day to try to find a grad program or a job. So I was looking at a few different grad programs. As always, there were like 1,000 jobs on LinkedIn. But the first day, I email Martin Luther College because I'm like teaching in a Wells school, WELS. That's what everybody calls it, Wells, Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran Synod. Teaching in a Wells school, I could do that. So I email Martin Luther College and I say, would I be eligible for your MS Ed, Master of Science in Education program, even though I don't have a bachelor's in education? And I figure maybe in a week or so, I'll hear back from someone's secretary or something, but instead I get an email directly from the director of graduate studies there, like 5 minutes after I send my initial email. He's like, yeah, you'd be eligible. Sure. You've got teaching experience. You've got some grad work towards an MSED. Yeah, you're eligible. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, because I told myself I would do one thing a day, I wait till the next day to email him back because right.
You got to spread it out. Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. So I email him back and I say, okay, cool. Here's an unofficial transcript from Oklahoma State. Would some of these credits transfer? Once again, he takes about 5 minutes to write me back. And he's like, yeah, we could take about, like 9 hours from Oklahoma State, which is, not amazing, but it's not bad. It's something. So I'm like, okay, so apparently I'm like the only prospective student this guy has to deal with or something, because he's apparently just sitting at his computer waiting for me to email. And but a school with a grad director this attentive, like, how do I say no to that? Next day I email him again and say, okay, well, when would I have to apply by if I wanted to register for classes in the spring? And he was like, end of the week. I was like, okay.
Hot damn. Okay.
So, I look at the application requirements and it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's like you fill out a form, you get your transcript sent over, and you write like a statement of intent.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could probably do that by the end of the week. So I did. By the end of the week, I'm accepting, I didn't even get a chance to like apply for any jobs or look into any other grad programs. I kind of fell backwards into the MSED program at MLC, Martin Luther College. So I'm pretty excited. One thing he said to me as I was applying was he was like, we're actually putting together a brand new program that's like a master's in education with a certification in Christian ministry. Would that interest you? And I was like, heck yes, that interests me.
What kind of ministry though?
A Christian ministry.
Okay. Well, at least they're specific about it.
No, it would, it would. I mean, I think some Lutheran high schools require that. I don't know.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I just thought like maybe like at that level, if you could be like a janitor or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So well, fair enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, it wouldn't be like a divinity degree, but it would, qualify me to, I don't know, lead chapel at a Lutheran high school or something. Maybe, I don't know.
You could, although you could leave the Lutherans and go to a non-denoms, and you could become a pastor with that. Just a
Probably.
thought.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I mean, if you're non-denominational, there's no requirement for becoming a pastor. You just call yourself a pastor and you're there.
Yeah, and you use AI to write your sermons.
Yeah. I mean, if you're non-denominational, you're literally starting your own denomination or your own church, at least. So,
no, you're starting your own non-denominational.
Your own non-denomination.
Well, congrats,
Well,
Luke.
yeah, congrats.
That's exciting.
I'm pretty excited. Starting classes in January, and it's all online, so I don't have to move to Minnesota or anything.
Beautiful.
Well, that's good. They're not going to make you live in the dorms.
I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna keep working at my part-time church receptionist gig, and I do that at like 2 or 3 hours every morning and then come home. So I'll have the afternoons kind of to myself to work on schoolwork, and it will feel less pointless than spending the afternoons working on novels that no one will ever read. So
do you have to go to the campus at any point? Even though it's online?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Maybe for graduation or whatever, but yeah. They're really good about just kind of letting people do the work they need to do online.
Gotcha.
Like one of the teachers at the school that I am receptionist for, she's actually still, while she's teaching, she's still working on her degree at Martin Luther. So, so she, she knows all about that.
Sweet.
So yeah, I'm excited. I need to figure out how I'm going to pay for it. But do
you get a discount for working for the denomination, kind of?
No.
There might be a scholarship somewhere out there.
It would be cool if that were the
receptionists.
Case. Yeah, the church receptionist scholarship.
There's also these things called loans. I don't know how good they are these days, though.
Yeah, I'll talk to my local loan shark and see what happens.
Yeah. Well,
congrats.
That is awesome.
This is through no fault of my own. I actually have some sizable financial assets. Like I had a couple of now dead but very generous grandfathers who invested a ton of money in my name. But because I didn't want to deal with it, I've just been kind of ignoring these investments for decades. So I need to get a handle on my finances and maybe break into some of these investments. But I feel like such an idiot that I'm like 40 years old and have no idea how much money I actually have.
Oh no, that's pretty common.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I don't think that's that's a not normal place to be.
I don't know.
Shut up, Jameson. You're not 40 yet.
Well, I mean, there are plenty of people who are like middle-aged and have no money and haven't thought about their finances, and that would be me if it weren't for my grandparents. But
it's more scary if you're in your 60s and you haven't thought about your finances.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's more of a I think once you hit about 45 to 50, then you start like thinking about those things.
Yeah, I'm never going to 45 to 50. That's not going to happen to me.
Yeah. You start going backwards. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. I'm going to be.
You're going to reverse Benjamin Button this shit.
Forever young, bro. Forever young.
Speaking of really good education programs from Lutheran colleges. How about Joker 2?
How about it?
Yeah, Joker 2.
So this movie's weird.
It is a very strange movie. Yeah.
And I read enough about it to know that like Todd Phillips basically just was like, well, they gave me the budget. and I wanted to do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded like, at least from what I read, it really was intended as kind of a screw you to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways. I mean, considering spoiler alert, he dies at the end. And there is no Batman at any point.
It is.
There is a Two-Face in it though.
There is a Two-Face, yes.
That was probably like a contractual obligation. Was like,
Yeah,
you gotta tie in
so.
some things, and he's like, okay, fine, I'll make the lawyer Harvey Dent.
It is a heck of a screw you to the audience, which I really appreciate. Because as I just said, sitting through most of these Batman movies feels like a 13-year-old bouncing up and down next to you going, this is so dark and so gritty.
It's like my emotions.
Exactly. It's black like my soul, right? Which I am 100% on board with. I don't know. I mean, there's definitely this orthodoxy in certain online fandoms that a fandom, an IP-based movie is good if and only if it makes the fans of the IP happy. And I'm thinking of people like The Critical Drinker, for instance, who I find funny, but is also often wrong about many things. But I don't really jive with that. I'm not going to sit here and defend like every terrible Disney Star Wars series or anything like that, but I appreciate movies that do something different, movies that aren't afraid to insult me for liking them. And I don't know. I mean, it would have been incredibly easy to do a follow-up to Joker that's like, Joker versus Batman, like it's a big crime thriller or just what fans want. And they were like, no, we're going to do an art house musical with Lady Gaga. And I mean, whatever else you want to say about that was just so ballsy,
Well, yeah, I will say, for as much as I hated the first Joker movie, when I heard musical, which I don't even like musicals as movies, I can't get on board. It's fine. My sisters give me tons of shit about it. But I was like, oh, so this is going to be nothing like the first Joker movie. Okay, I might like it, but I also didn't really want to see it. So, So
anyway. When I heard about it, I was like, okay, that movie sounds like it was made just for me, right? Because like, I was the last person who should have enjoyed the first Joker, but I did. I don't I don't generally care for comic book movies and crime thrillers and whatever else, but I love musicals, right? So I'm like the guy who liked the first Joker despite myself. And then they make the sequel and it's like the exact kind of movie that I would want to see. And I'm just like, I am lining up on day one to see this movie. I didn't actually end up doing that. The reviews were like abysmal enough that I stayed away.
You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I stayed away for a few weeks, but then, I was like, I need to see this. Like, even if it's like the worst thing ever made, like I just need to see it for the WTF factor. And so I went, and I mean, again, it was kind of like the first movie. I didn't love it, but I just thought it was a really interesting movie, and I don't regret seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Jameson. I'm not a fan of musicals either, but I mean, I've got 2 or 3 that I really like. But yeah, on the whole, I'm not a fan. But there's an element to this that as I was watching, I was like, this is like a musical in the way that, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a comparable movie, because it doesn't feel like a musical in the sense that like everything's staged.
It's not a Broadway style musical.
No, it's not Broadway.
It's not like a bunch of big show-stopping numbers.
No. Although there are a couple moments that they try to work some of that in.
Yeah.
But and one of them works really well for me, actually. I really enjoyed one of them specifically. But yeah, it's like it really fed into the insanity factor of what was going on in the movie. Because and I read some reviews because I was curious about why people hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And the general consensus was nothing happened. I'm like, well, you could actually say that about a shit ton of Oscar bait films.
True.
That are out almost every year.
Yeah.
What is it about this one specifically? What was the nothingness in it that irked you? Like,
yeah.
And so,
well,
and so I went into it. I was like, okay, well, I mean, I'm gonna give it a shot because I've seen plenty of movies that nothing happens and I enjoyed them for whatever they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched it and I came away just thinking like I wouldn't like you. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I didn't hate the time I spent watching it either. And some of the scenes were actually really compelling. Honestly.
It's absolutely a fascinating movie. I don't know if it's a good movie, but it is far more interesting than like 99% of comic book movies.
Yep.
And I did find myself wondering afterwards, like, could this have been a hit if they had done a little more to build it to more of a climax? If like there had been a little more action, because so much of it is just like they're in a courtroom and they're just rehashing the events of the first movie, and the main character doesn't really, he never builds to like a crescendo. He just kind of slowly collapses in on himself,
and then dies.
Which I can absolutely understand someone being frustrated by that, right? Like it's not the most compelling, exciting viewing experience, but it's clearly a deliberate choice, and it's really interesting that choice was made. Which is why it really plays more like an art house movie than a comic book movie. Where it's just it's there less to make you stand up and cheer and more to go, huh?
Jameson had a really great thought about it too.
Well, I just wanted to kind of write off that, like, the one thing that I got from this movie was there were a couple points. There was one where there's this like dreamlike sequence where they're doing like Sonny and Cher, and there's like a line that Lady Gaga says that's like, "We're not giving the people what they want," and that felt in particular like he's like he's poking the audience. Todd Phillips is just like pointing at them.
Prodding the bear.
Yeah.
Prodding the bear. And then there was another line near the end where Joaquin Phoenix goes to Lady Gaga, like, stop. Oh, no, it's the other. I forget which direction it is, but someone says, like, stop singing, and, like, pleads with them to, like, talk. And so I think it's kind of funny because it felt like it knew that it was just kind of just an odd choice, odd story. So there's maybe like a meta thing going on there, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was better than the first one. I don't know. So.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, fundamentally what I really appreciate about this movie, I think, is that the cult around Joker is just so weird and so lame, honestly. Like, all these 13-year-old boys that are like, oh, he's so deep. He's such a deep character. I identify with him so much. Like, he's such a one-note character, guys. Like, all he is a guy who dresses like a clown and sows chaos. And that's the whole thing. And, like, he's been doing the same shtick for almost 100 years now. And we're all still supposed to be excited about him. Like, we're all supposed to connect to this character. Like, and, the fundamentally, the film is just like, if you like this, you're an idiot. And I
Well,
appreciate,
he showcases that. He
What's that?
showcases that in the movie. Like, he showcases that kind of fandom in the movie with the people that show up as his like fan base in the courtroom. And it's like a small, like, select group of people that are like constantly there day to day. And I'm like,
Yeah.
It's like he was literally saying, like, you guys are a bunch of fucking losers. Like, this is like every part of this movie. There's something in there. There's something in the scene itself, like visually, or a piece of dialogue or something that is basically Todd Phillips saying, like, why is this a thing for you?
And I like to think, I don't know if this is true, but I like to think that even if I was a big Joker fan, I could still appreciate that about this movie because it's so well done. You know, even if I disagree with the point, I feel like I'd have to agree. Well done. And it's, I mean, I guess and I say this in the blog post as well, that, it felt very appropriate to the time it came out, right? Like, it was Joker, the original Joker came out just about a year before, like, all the crazy violence erupted, which made it feel very, very timely, but then by 2024, when Joker 2 comes out, everyone was just exhausted, I think. And we've all seen how futile violence is and how it almost never makes the world a better place. And Joker 2 just felt like of the moment to me. Like, I think I think what I said in the piece was that it feels like the third act of a rise and fall crime story with the second missing. But I think the real joke is that we're all the second act. That was 2020, 2021 we're all the second act of this story. Send in the clowns.
It does. I will say, like, that feeling of something missing in between. I feel that because I really felt like the first movie ended with this, like, eruption of violence, and then really, there was a TV movie made that we hear about this instance that happened, and then it's all in this court case. I know I mentioned earlier, like, there's, like, it felt more political to me than the other one, and maybe it's just because I don't remember that one. But, like, the fact that there's all this, like, allowing things inside the courtroom, and there's all this drama about the narrative of the courtroom and stuff, just feels like the world of Trump right now, which is we always hear about this, like, court case that's happening, and he's parading around whatever is going on in these courts and whether or not these courts are, and it feels like a circus to me on the outside. So, I don't know. And I don't know if
waiting for them.
I don't know
if that's what,
I strongly suspect these movies are going to be much better remembered than they are thought of right now. I mean, it's really felt like Joker 2 just kind of killed any public discussion of the Joker movies, which, whatever, people didn't like it, that's fine. But I feel like, I suspect in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, these movies will be looked on as just absolutely capturing something very, very true about the late 20-teens, early 2020s.
I definitely think this movie is going to be a cult classic. Like, it wasn't poorly made, and I think it has the like, I don't know, perfect storm of, like, just trashed by the critics and trashed by the fan base, and not being a bad movie. And so, I think people are going to start picking it up and, like, watching it, and then we'll get think pieces about it, and that'll start the whole thing. But
and then it'll become insipid
when we do
eventually.
When we do a massive Fly-By Films con in a couple of years.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to do, like, a midnight showing of Joker 2 as part of it.
Totally. I mean, because the only people that would be there are you, Thad, and the two of us. So.
Speaking of Thad, did we give Thad a shout out for his marathon? Did we already do that?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
He
just
marathoned.
Shout out to my
congrats,
brother
Thad.
who just ran a marathon. Well
That's
done.
pretty cool.
Did you just now find that out, Luke?
No.
From us?
No, I mean he had been training for it for like a year, so I knew it was coming,
Yeah.
and yeah, he didn't bother texting me like a picture of him crossing the finish line or anything. You know, I had to learn from my mom when I was talking to her. Like, did you hear your brother ran that marathon? I was like, no one bothered telling me. It's my fault for deliberately cutting myself off from humanity after all the nonsense that we just talked about. So
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
That's fair. So I did want to bring up the fact that the first movie that came to mind when I was trying to like find a comparison, like in the meta-ness and the flipping the finger at anyone who likes superhero movies. And I don't know if you've seen this, Luke. There's a 50-50 chance. But M. Night Shyamalan's Glass.
I have not.
Okay, so that movie, and it's been a bit since I've watched it the last time, but is very similar in a lot of ways in that it very anticlimactic.
Mm-hmm.
And
Glass was kind of a big hit, wasn't it? Or am I thinking
Glass was kind of a what?
It was kind of a big hit, like at the box office.
Split was.
Split
I
was
think
it.
Glass did pretty well.
Oh.
Yeah, Split was the middle film in the Unbreakable trilogy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Unbreakable is
And
the only one I've seen. So
yeah. I mean, it's the best still, but yeah, Glass basically took all of the villains and heroes up to that point, and basically put them into a mental institute. Had a woman like try to like figure out what makes them tick. Like it's a very talky movie, and then they all die, or at least I think they all die, because she figures out a way to kill them. And it the thing I sent Jameson a message. I was like, Shyamalan's not. There are moments of this of Joker 2 they're a bit of a slog, because it is so slowly paced. But at the same time, like when they hit, it hit. With Glass, I enjoyed the whole movie, even though it was clearly him saying, "Superhero movies, so what?" And he brought up an interesting point, kind of feeding back on that notation on my point. And he said that Shyamalan's not cynical at all, though. And I get the sense that Todd Phillips is cynical. And so I asked him, because on this podcast we both hate Ari Aster as a director. And the thing that we constantly say is that Ari Aster hates his characters. And so I tossed
Ari Aster is, because
he did.
Did you see Hereditary
and Midsommar?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. He hates his characters.
Yeah,
forgot about that.
And so I tossed the question to Jameson. I was like, so do you think Todd Phillips hates his characters? And if not, what is the difference between their two types of cynicism? And did you ever figure that out, Jameson? Because I knew that you were like, you had an idea, but
so I have the feeling, and I still feel this way. I don't think maybe he's like kind of indifferent to Joker as a character. I don't think he hates his characters. I think, if anything, he hates the audience, which I thought is like an easier thing for me to swallow, because I get to call Todd Phillips an asshole, whereas like the characters can't. So there's that level of them just being stuck in their narrative and not being able to like, rage against that. And to me, and I think it goes to what you were saying, Luke, which is like, you'd hope that if someone is like making fun of you as the audience, you could take that joke, or like at least you have the ability to react to it. And so
The
it's maybe a
agency to
little
do
bit,
it.
yeah, a little bit easier, the agency. So, um,
Well,
and so
and
I think for me, that's like a big difference between how I feel about Ari Aster and
Mhm.
how I felt watching this movie. So,
And I think that's fair. And I think we're kind of on the downhill side of like the reign of the nerds. I think where like every movie had to be IP, and every IP movie had to like suck up to the fans and tell them how cool and
Mhm.
smart they were for knowing the comic books. And I'm so sick of that. Like
Mhm.
I I I've always felt
the
kind of like
the era of the Easter egg.
yeah, like I'm so sick of that. Like these greasy nerds who have done nothing with their life except memorize comic books, and we're supposed to like flatter these people for doing that, and like no thank you. Like
Yeah, but if you don't do that, Luke, they're all gonna start donning clown makeup and killing people.
and I'm just glad someone like Todd Phillips is willing to stand up to them and be like,
Yeah,
no more, no more. You know,
yeah, that's
uh,
fair.
the world does not need more comic book movies. It does not need more Star Wars. It does not need more Star Trek. Like let's do something new and different, like a friggin' Joker musical. You know, let's do something different. Let's.
We do note that we have so far only watched the gayest superhero movies on this podcast.
Batman
It's
movies.
pretty much this one
Yeah.
and Batman Forever.
I mean, Batman and Robin is clearly gayer than Batman Forever.
But both are Schumacher films, and we just haven't covered that one yet. So
Yeah.
we will.
We'll get to
We'll get to that one.
it.
You know, I have still never gotten around to watching Batman and Robin. Actually, like
It's not good.
I'm sure it's not. I just it's hard for me to imagine it being that much worse than Batman Forever. Is it?
I mean, but Batman
I-
Forever, there's a sick enjoyment that you get out of Batman Forever, whereas none of that happens on Batman and Robin. It's just like I basically have to stare at like, because in Batman and Robin, even the suits have like the pecs on the rubber pecs, so
The
you
nipples.
see all of it,
Yeah.
and you're like staring at the whole time. You're like, really? Like, why?
I do love Mr. Freeze gifts though from that movie.
Oh yeah.
Because when I see them,
Yo.
yeah, I hear them in Arnold's voice. I can't do that.
He really is the best part of that movie
He is
by a stretch.
I will say both of them. I think you mentioned, Luke, you mentioned Broadway and how this movie doesn't feel very Broadway. That was
Yeah.
one thing that I think when we did cover Batman Forever, we felt, like the sets all felt kind of put together like a Broadway set or something like that.
It's bombastic.
Very
Yeah.
over the top, yeah. And I'm assuming Batman and Robin feels that way too, because again, Schumacher. But yeah, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you go see a third Joker
You know,
by Todd Phillips?
I think I would. I don't know if that's just masochism.
It's not going to happen. But
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, it really blew my mind how big of a flop Joker 2 was. Like it was like, I mean, it came out and the next day it was declared dead, and the numbers never picked up.
Yeah.
I don't think. It was wild. Like even if it was a terrible movie, which I don't think it was, but even if it was, even if it didn't give fans what they wanted, which it clearly didn't, like. I would have expected at least some momentum to carry forward from the first movie, because that was a massive hit, and then it was
Yeah.
And I don't know if was it 5 years between them? Maybe that was just too long. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
5 years is the time it takes for today's 13-year-olds to become tomorrow's 18-year-olds. So maybe that makes a big difference. I don't know.
Well, and also that wasn't just a normal 5 years either.
Well, yeah, it was a very strange 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the only thing they could really do on a third Joker, though, is basically make the whole movie a death dream.
Well, and
or just make it around Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's fair.
She survives.
I could see that doing well. Maybe like another musical just starring Harley Quinn, maybe marketed more to women. I don't know. I could imagine that.
Yeah.
Or it could be about their baby that maybe they were having, maybe not. That she was smoking and drinking all throughout.
That's right. Yeah. That was such... But yeah, I think I probably would go see a third, because at the very least, I am just morbidly curious to see what he would do with it.
Well, he definitely got my attention with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, clearly, because before Joker, the first one, I mean, the only thing I knew by Todd Phillips was The Hangover.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a funny movie, but it's not like serious, film or anything. But then he did the Joker, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. That was an interesting, like, flex.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came out with this one. I was like, oh, so this guy actually has some quirks going for him. I was like, okay, all right.
He's willing to try stuff, like whatever.
He's willing to try it
about him. He's willing to try stuff. It's too bad that the Joker IP is tied up with Warner Brothers, which is in the gutter right now, and apparently, nobody is interested in seeing superhero movies anymore because the Superman movie did not do well, and I thought it was pretty good, not amazing, but pretty good. I don't know.
That's because everyone's too busy watching Sonic movies, which are quite good.
I guess.
Actually,
video game IP is
Mario did well. They're making another Mario movie.
They're making another one. Yeah.
I think Nintendo needs to recruit Todd Phillips and turn like one of their franchises into a gritty crime drama, possibly with the musical aspect. I don't know.
Which one would he pick though?
Urban Champion. Right?
If Dennis Hopper was still alive, he could have gotten him to reprise Koopa and Koopa's rise to power.
Yeah, no, the original Super Mario Brothers movie, that's another one that's like, I don't know if it's terrible, but it's definitely fascinating that it exists.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you brought it up means that we need to cover it, because I used to adore that film as a kid.
I saw it
adore it.
3 times in theater. I loved it as a kid. So,
I had the cassette tape. I listened to it over and over again. Oh, man.
Amazing. It's amazing.
That played such a huge part in
this
my
is the part of the conversation where I confess I did not see that movie as a kid when it came out, because I was like,
really?
That's not Mario. Mario is cute and fun, and that movie looks stupid. So I didn't see it until I finally saw it when I was in college, so like 20-ish. About 10 years after it came out, probably. And I was like, this movie's amazing. It's so cool. It's so cool this movie exists. It's like, what if Blade Runner, but for 5-year-olds? And I love it.
Yes.
And I mean, who was smoking pot and decided to choose Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo to head that movie?
And apparently,
that's a great pick.
Apparently, Bob Hoskins didn't even know that Mario was a video game, and like he was in the middle of filming the movie, and his son or nephew was like, "Hey, Dad, you want to see the Mario video game?" And he was like, "What? There's a Mario
what?
Video game?" I just thought this was a quirky sci-fi about dinosaurs.
I mean, he clearly,
plumbers.
He's been very forthright in interviews about how much he hated doing that movie. Apparently, he and John Leguizamo and everybody else would just take shots constantly on set just to get through it. Like the directors were the people behind Max Headroom, I guess, and they
oh god,
I mean, I think Mario Brothers effectively ended their career. Like they didn't do anything after that, and apparently they were impossible to work with. But
That's what
anyway,
I've heard. Yeah.
yeah.
Just some of the background of that.
I don't know. I enjoy Bob Hoskins' performance in that movie. Apparently the booze did him a favor. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or at least
I don't know.
a worse actor. I don't know.
Although it's Bob Hoskins, so you can't go super wrong with him. I mean, name a movie he was bad in.
I can't.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Any other thoughts on Joker 2, Folie et Deux?
If you
I
haven't
will
seen
say,
we're seeing.
oh, yeah.
No, The Guest.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're
Not for me
talking
to.
over each other.
Not for me. to
Say your piece, Luke.
Yeah, I just if you haven't seen it, it's worth seeing. It takes a bit of patience because it is kind of slow and it is very weird. But it is a comic book movie that manages to be interesting, which is such an accomplishment. I tip my hat to it.
Yeah, there you go. Jameson.
Yeah. Yeah, watch it if you
see it.
haven't. Sure. I mean, it's probably good that you waited a year if you haven't seen it, just because, I don't know, the discourse around it was kind of dumb, but,
Which do you think got dumber discourse, Joker 1 or Joker 2?
Probably Joker 1, but I don't remember the discourse, but having you guys describe it to me, I just remember, the second one, it was so hated because it was so different than the first one, and I was like, whatever, guys. But yeah,
I love that Jameson's critique of this movie is basically smoke it if you got it.
Sure, yeah. Blake, what do you got?
Yeah, I largely enjoyed this movie. Like I lean more on the like side of it. And my take is if you have some 2 hours and 15 minutes to kind of enjoy a movie, it's you could do way worse. And here's the other thing. There's one scene where Lady Gaga gets up on top of a courtroom table and starts doing this I don't know, 50s, 60s style dance, and then Joker's doing some vague James Brown style dancing. And at that point I was like, okay, I'm on board. Keep this up. I'll keep watching. And plus they had Steve Coogan.
When they're singing,
you can't go wrong with Steve Coogan.
Blake is still watching. You know that there's something to it. So
yeah. The older I get, the more apt I am to shut a movie off if I'm not digging it. They didn't just have Steve
Coogan. They also had our favorite guy,
Brendan Gleeson.
Brendan Gleeson. Why can't I think of any names or anything?
It's because it's that night. It's one of those nights.
It's that night. Also, my son, I don't know if you guys can see this. He gave me a black eye right before the podcast. So, right there. It's small.
Dang. So he cold cocked you in the face, huh?
Yeah, we were trying to wipe up something together. I was trying to get him to clean up water that he had spilt, and then he was right under me, and bam.
Oh. Yeah. I thought he intentionally just punched you in the face.
That
Seamus has done that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had about an hour and a half of a screaming 2-year-old before I got on, so that was a blast. Just a blast.
Great.
So, yep. This was a nice break.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we should say adios. What were we going to say, Jameson?
I was just going to thank our guest because I'm a gracious host. Thank you, Luke, for being on our podcast.
Let him describe his whole college experience on the podcast. We don't need to give him any more time.
Anyway, thanks, Luke.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Luke.
Always love talking to you guys.
All right. Adios.
All right.
Muchacho.